Try and solve this problem. Why am I here? Sounds like they're having a birthday party over there. People are having fun. What am I doing? Certainly none of that. Pointing generally southwest, suppose. Surrounded by villagers. I bet at least a few of them are looking through their telescopes, wondering what I'm doing out here. Honestly, if your kids were setting the forest on fire, they would be none the wiser. Charlatans and hypocrites like all the rest. Testing out my new tools. Have a conformable, uh, versatile, all-in-one shovel slash spear slash hatchet with a compass built in and a fire starter. So that was nice. Basically, right now we're on a mound of gravel and old asphalt, been dumped here in the middle of your field, and there's a naturally occurring creek, pond kind of thing going on here that runs seasonally. And there's houses on all all four sides. So not really the wilderness, but some untamed plot. And there's, like man-made stuff out here. We've got the concrete. I've got some 4x4s that were left to rot. There's other objects out here. I'm not entirely sure, but I might have fractured my funny bone before I left. And I actually have a tent in the carport, although I think it would be probably called in pretty quickly if I pitched a tent out here. Yeah, I mean, we do have, local law enforcement in the vicinity, so I'm not going to be doing much out here without having the yuppies call us in. Started to wonder why I was doing what I was doing again. I know, dangerous thinking. And, maybe if you do something sufficiently long enough, it's just no longer useful to you. You're no longer useful to it. That wasn't even really the logic. That's like post hoc rationale or whatever. Like, I'm just not happy. Try to figure out how to be happy and try to change one thing or another aspect of my life, and it makes no difference. Just end up back here shoveling shit. Kind of prefer to be in this space. This makes sense. Nothing else really makes sense. I was talking to Mike from Answers in Atheism earlier. He's been a good friend. He's made a lot of sense, you know, as far as everything that I deal with in my life. He's a smart guy, and he cares about people. If you find somebody like that, it's a little important that you try to hold on. You don't get many of those in your life. My dad, for all of his flaws, I think he really wants to care about people, tries to. He's a lot like me. At the end of the day, it's just not feasible. Care about yourself and others on the same plane, on the same gradient. You're like, no, I just don't have the bandwidth for all that. I really got to put more effort into me. I tried to be there for others, and that was a mistake, right? Because in doing so, I did more harm to myself and them. If I was really there, I would have been able to put myself aside, but I wasn't able to do that. I tried, and not for a lack of wanting, right? No, we like to think that we're doing some good in our lives, but in reality, it's all for us. It's all pointless. Are we ever really doing good? By what standards? By what metric have I done any good? And for whom? There is a school of thought that says that if we've done something to contribute to the system, then we have done good. because society is good inherently. I don't know if that's true. I often feel that more good can be accomplished outside of the system, but trying to get there is a whole nother thought because we're all living inside the system. The system owns us, controls us, our way of thinking, our way of being. It's all systematic. How am I going to do my hair? What shoes am I going to wear today? Does this align with my outfit? Am I meeting the company standards? Right? You want me to wear, khaki cargo pants with a black shirt and black shoes to adhere to the company's preferences? Where did all my clothes go? Oh no. We're converging with another version of reality here, where I had more clothes, and suddenly there was no utility for them because the whole outfit changed, the persona changed, and I wasn't in control of any of it. I was conforming to a temporary uh, state of affairs, it was non-permanent, and now my more permanent state of affairs is, oh no, you've lost something. So what did I gain? No, I've got employment, sort of. I had employment. I don't know today. Funny the way that works. Unless you conform to this temporary state of affairs, you could potentially sabotage your permanent state of affairs, right? I was in pretty good standing, and then I lost it. I mean, let's face it, if I had come in today trying to play the part, I would have come off a raving lunatic, like I was. That's exactly what I was. I could only do that in one space without being confined to another. If we do this every day, certainly, I mean, we'd be confined. We'd be hidden away from society. Nobody would tolerate that all day, every day. Temporary state of affairs we call feeling. And what is feeling? The moment that arises and then passes, and then we're back in it again. We sit here and we ponder it. But in the moment, it's useless to us. It feels like everything that matters, and then it passes away and nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares how we feel. Feelings are irrelevant. So what am I doing here? Trying to contend with my feelings? Am I trying to displace my feelings and put them in another box? Because I know that my actions matter and that I've made choices. And now I will have to contend with the consequences of those choices. And did it make me feel any differently? I know the sunshine feels good right now. It won't be here forever. I know the feeling of imminent dread has passed, and yet still there is feeling that I must act. I know I can go over there, go back to a comfortable place where I can rest. And yet I don't know if that would be useful to me. Can I rest in a state of unrest where nothing is certain, nothing is guaranteed, and I could be picked up any minute for being a vagabond, for being vagrant, right? Go home, you loser. Get out of this field that you're in. And at the end of the day, does any of it really matter? Except for this. To get a beautiful experience from a weird vantage that I didn't earn. Something that was just put here before me. I just got to graze there for a moment. Because the trees, there they are. I didn't create any of this, but I created all of my circumstances. This is all my fault. Whatever consequences arise as a result of it, I'll take accountability for it. Because I could have been somewhere else right now doing I don't know what. And I'm not sure what that is. Sometimes it feels like babysitting, other times it feels like goaltending. And if your job is really meaningful, I guess if they pay you for it, it must be meaningful. And it's not that I'm at odds with my employer, my coworkers, they've been fine. I mean, most of them. A couple of them were complete assets, but I got over that. I didn't find what I was doing meaningful. And I tried to adjust that. Right? I tried to augment to make sure that I was doing something I thought was meaningful. And yet I brought all of my character flaws with me and didn't change the thing that was important. And what was important? For me to have purpose? Is that what's important? A purpose for everything? Do I need to discern the purpose for everything to give myself meaning? Or am I being selfish and unreasonable again? Just a stupid monkey living on a weird planet under strange conditions, hoping the other ones don't notice. At the very least, they don't notice. Or if they do notice, maybe they'll have some kind of sympathy. Well, I think that one's run its course. Right? Sympathy only goes so far. And the rest of us are doomed to be here for a mighty long time. Wondering why, trying to discern purpose from this very limited, very confined state of affairs, state of being, state of knowledge. As I sit here now, it seems very peaceful. I was not at peace. when I came. And the reality is, I could have come here much earlier. Could have done that. I should have done that. But it's not what I did. I thought, then I stewed, then I hurt people that I love. And finally, I came here. Like a last resort, thinking I would find something, knowing that this was all I would find. And is it enough? Well, yeah, for now, it's enough. Will it sustain? No. We can't stay here. We can't be here. Society will not allow for that. Now, if it were just up to me and none other, probably. I could do it for a while. Not very long, but for a while. But society will cut that short. Society will say, you cannot stay here. You're not allowed to be here. And society will not give you an inch. If society gives you an inch, this is it. This is the only inch you get. If you try for much longer, I promise you will fail. They have no sympathy for our kind. Now it's easy. You try to stay, see how long it lasts. You pack up, pull up shop, move on to the next thing before they catch you. I guess that's the big question. How long will it take before they catch you? Should I hedge my bets and run? Or wait and see what the result is? Fortunately, I'm next door to like one of the noisiest neighbors available. It's like as bad as my house over here, except theirs is, you know, a lot nicer. I mean, their house looks a lot nicer from the outside, but it sounds like the same bullshit going on inside. I don't really think they're doing better in life. I think they just somehow got a nicer house. Oh, Skeptic Philosophy, good to see you. No, it's just another random live stream. Don't worry about that. I hurt myself, so I guess I'll figure it out as I go. Thank you. No, I really done a lot of damage today. And honestly, in the last couple weeks, I've done a lot of damage um, to things. But this feels peaceful. Just being out here with the frogs and stuff, kind of watching the sun set beyond those hills there. And I know that I'm surrounded at every point, and yet I'm safe. And I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe most of the time. I had to quit therapy a few months ago because it wasn't financially viable. And a lot of the times, if I didn't have, you know, space and inside, I would come out here to this field and I'd walk around and I would talk to my therapist. Last year, I come out here with the kids at least a couple times a month. They could ride their bike or play in the pond or whatever they wanted to do. And it was all good. But I always felt like I should have built something. There's so much space out here. We could build anything. Well, we can't really build. Well, we could possibly build a tree fort. It'd be over that way, because there's no real trees out here. It's mostly open space. There's trees on that side, and close to the house. Um, and there's like this big lot and this kind of divot where water gathers. Um, but I definitely think this could be a space to create something. But I just haven't found a healthy way to do that. And I really screwed the pooch today. I just have to come to terms with the fact that I couldn't fucking handle life today. Just wasn't agreeing with me. And kind of move from there. There's no taking back what's done. And it was kind of brave, but it was kind of stupid too. And I guess a lot of things are like that. You can be a little brave and a little reckless at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. But then you figure out, what are you gonna do next? Right? I still have my main thing. I still have that. But the thing that I was doing before, who knows? Right? I wasn't really sure of myself. Like I felt like I've just been blowing fucking time when I could have been doing something better. But at the same time, that thing was the thing that sustained me. But sustenance isn't all there is to life. There is something more. There has to be something more. At least I believe so. We reach a point where we're not content with merely sustaining ourselves anymore and we have to grow. If we're not growing, then we're not really living. I don't know if that's true. It's just a thing that I subscribe to. one part of me had hoped that I'd find another corn snake out in this field. We had a couple of corn snakes in captivity, and well, they were bred in captivity, and then one of them escaped and is still loose, presumably somewhere. 'Cause it had escaped before and been found in the neighbor's house, and they returned it to us, and then we got it back in the tank, and then the cat broke the top of the snake tank, the aquarium, and got in there, and the snake got loose again. And so we're missing this snake for the second time, but it seems like the perfect place to find one. And but I'm not moving that smoothly in these times to be able to capture a wild snake. I have in the past gotten very near to some wild rattlesnakes and stuff like that, but not out here. Um, Today is probably just not my day. I think I'm looking for rest. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means anymore. I told Mrs. Ape this morning because I've been sleeping in a lot during the week, and I think a lot of that is cleansing, like my body cleansing itself. I'll do a lot of you know respiration and stuff like that, if you can call it that. Uh, Pulling up the mucus in the early morning hours, and so I spend a lot of time doing that, and and this shit's catching up with me. I'm getting older, and I know the more that I sit and I smoke and I revel in my convenience, the less healthy I get. And what I need to do is get up and exercise and run and jump and play, which is, mainly what I'm doing on the job now. I had to play with a 5-year-old. You gotta have some windage, and you don't get to smoke, but that's not most of the time. Should be. It's not what I'm doing most of the time. Like as soon as I get off work, I'm seeking out the same old habits. I need to figure out a way to not do that. Come back and do what my 5-year-old self would do. When I was a kid, I used to live down yonder, a couple exits off the freeway, but similar landscape, I suppose. You can see the hills, the valleys, and the creeks, and it's all very green. And I remember I had this dream, a childhood vision. I was going to own like a 4-wheel drive vehicle that could trek up the hillside and have a little cottage up there somewhere, nestled in the trees. Not anything very big, a little settlement. And then when I got older, that like progressed to like, me and my buddy, we were gonna have like a settlement, uh, an island, if you will. We actually had, you know, our hearts set on having a private island. But that's neither here nor there, I guess, but just a small plot of land that we could live more naturalistically and just have open space around us, small houses and big gardens. That was kind of what we were aiming for. And it all sounds great when you like, you know, in theory. In theory, it sounds great. My cousin was talking about this a few years ago too. He was talking about um, keeping an open space and basically living in like tree houses. And but being able to rent out campsites, but maintaining that natural landscape. I think that sounds good, but it's hard to achieve. That's a lofty goal. Be able to obtain and maintain that much property. It's a lofty goal. It's no small thing. And I mean, basically, in order to obtain anything approximate to that, at some level, you have to participate with society. You have to operate within the bounds of society. And it doesn't always work. Like, it's not guaranteed. You can operate within the bounds of society for so many years and maybe achieve what you wanted and maybe not, because there's no guarantee there. It's like, well, I mean, we probably won't arrest you if you're a law-abiding citizen, but you might not get all that shit you wanted. You might not even get close to all that shit you wanted. And in fact, you might even lose most of your shit in the process, because society doesn't actually care, just like nature doesn't actually care. It's just a system. Um, and you can operate within it. You can try to rebel against it and see what you get. And the results are varied. So I see no real evidence that operating within society uh, achieves optimal results. I think you're less likely to get swept up in the undercurrent, but you still might end up discontent, maladjusted. Society does not guarantee safety. Society guarantees a lot of regularity, but that regularity isn't always safe, and it's not always preferable, right? We're looking to achieve certain outcomes. What are we trying to achieve? I don't know. Today, I don't know. I know that today I behaved in such a way that was not beneficial to myself, and it was not beneficial to others, and yet I get these moments of peace and clarity out of it, because I have some semblance of safety here temporarily. And in a moment, my safety can be removed. Anybody could come from all sides and tell me that I'm wrong, that I'm not where I should be. They probably won't, but they could. If I stayed here a day or two, almost certainly they would. One of these nosy fucking yuppies will call in and say, hey, there's some guy out in the field, go get him. And the cops will comply because that's their job, right? They need to maintain order. And I am behaving in a disorderly fashion, which is kind of silly. I mean, it is. It's kind of silly. I mean, the kids come out here, they ride their dirt bikes, and that's all fine and good, right? But if I set up camp here, it's a no-fly zone, bro. Get gone. Um, and for good reason, right? Like a lot of irresponsible people could be out here trashing the place, uh, burning down the whole fucking neighborhood. And of course, I'm like a block away from a fire department, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm not setting fires, but that's not really the point. It's not what I'm actually doing. It's people's perception of what I'm doing, and people's perception is that this guy is not conforming to the norms of society in this neighborhood, right? Everybody else, they've got a big 4-bedroom house, happy family. Just go home and yell at your kids. Just go home and yell at your fucking kids. That's the solution to this feeling I have right now. right? And I don't want to yell at the kids. They're good kids. There's no reason for me to argue with those children or for me to argue with my partner. I mean, you know, I could have some reason to argue with my partner, but doing it obviously has been fruitless, and now I'm here, uh, sitting out in a field, wondering how to protect myself because I'm not safe, man. I'm not. My opinions and my feelings are invalid, and the only place that my work really matters is out here. Right here, I can build something. In there, I can't build anything. Just a force for fucking disaster, man. And that's what makes it really disheartening. Because everything that I work for amounts to amounts to nothing. It really does. Like I put all this effort into retraining myself for employment, moving my job, moving my physical self from wherever I was, and I come here and this person doesn't want me around anymore. So I must be a pretty miserable fuck, right? It must be a me problem. That's all I can figure. Funny because the place that I left, the person I left, in a pretty bad way. Like I was not at all responsible about that. They left me an open door to come back. Right? It's not contingent, but um, there was a sense of kind of unfinished business there, and I keep thinking about that. Like I didn't do all that I could to maintain that, or all that I should have. And my how do I say this? I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna say it. There's a level of shame surrounding that. Like, how can I ever progress? How can I ever move forward? My past is following every fucking day, telling me that I should have done something different or I could have done something different. And now when I move forward and I try to do something different, they tell me, no, don't do that. Just stay the course. Just do the thing that you've been doing because discipline actually leads to true freedom. What, what does all that mean? What does that mean? Well, if you had been disciplined enough in the first place to know where the fuck you were going, you would have been there already, right? But if you just keep going, I mean, eventually you'll get there. Oh, I'm experiencing some pessimism right now. Um, okay, I really need to fucking chop something with this hatchet. I swear, that's my life's mission right now is just to see how much I can destroy with this fucking tiny hatchet. I sit outside of myself and wonder where I am because I don't see me in this picture. There's a fence, some grass, and some trees. But where do I fit in this picture? family is actually extraordinarily loud. Um, I wonder whether the HOA has complained to them yet. Like you can hear them and nothing else except for like a saw going off down there in this whole neighborhood. And some dogs barking, but that's over there. I had a really good day with my I had a really good day with my kids actually for the most part. Like I wasn't there for a lot of it. Um, but like considering the whole situation, like mom was gone at an appointment and my previous appointment got canceled and I talked to the guys over at Answers in Atheism and like I only had one incident with my kids screaming that I had to deal with and everything else was fine and they were like really well behaved for me. And this happens a lot. And then it's not like them, but it's my partner's response. My partner was like, "Oh no, you should have been doing this and this and that," and and I just find it really amusing because I myself, I tried to goad her into developing a routine and being consistent, and then she accuses me of being, like a tyrannical asshole. And then when I use routine in my approach, it actually works, and it's just like stop doing that to my kids, and uh, and so that's really interesting. Um, but then for myself, like when I try to put myself into that routine, I routinely fail, um, and I end up out here in the field, like wondering what life's all about. Um, And so, like, the best thing for me usually is to shake that up. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna take, weird, unscheduled shifts and go do things on, on my whimsies. Uh, and usually that helps to even things out for me. But that also entails a certain amount of consistency through most of my days, right? And if I don't have that consistency, whether it's my fault or another party's fault, um, then I just kind of I go chaotic. I don't know how else to put it. Like if somebody tries to throw some chaos at me, I will one up your fucking chaos and just throw a wrench in your whole fucking program. Like what what good is this really doing me? Is this doing me any good? I don't know. Um, so trying to develop a balance between the well disciplined and the chaotic and trying to maintain that consistently, which is obviously kind of an oxymoron. Um, but then I just get to sit out here and enjoy this beautiful sunset in this field by myself, and nobody can fuck with me. I mean, eventually it'll hurt, but nobody can fuck with me right now. And if they try, they're probably sorely surprised. Why did that happen? Oh, the world is trying to call, but I am not answering. Like I'm literally a football field away. Like people can find me. There's no, you know, you're fine. The world will be fine without me. That has been keep on going. Uh, this phone may not stand up. Solutions. There we are. Yeah, like most of the time, I just feel like people are fucking with me, man. Like there's no point. Like, what do they want to do? They want to make money. They want to live comfortably. There's no necessity to what they're doing. It's all about convenience. Am I providing convenience for you? Oh, okay, cool. Wow, that's amazing. I wish my life was more comfortable and convenient to you. That would be great. If I just had underlings, they were helping, you know, to make a more convenient, comfortable life for me. Wow, that would be amazing. I don't know. Maybe like kingship or something. We have all these fucking mini kings running businesses out here, and some of them are good. They're not bad people, but they just got fucked up ideas about the world, or they're caught up in whatever they're doing, so they can't see the broader picture. And that's true. And I guess in any context, that's kind of what it's like to wield power in any given age, any given time, right? You have to lose perspective. You have to lose perspective on whatever anybody else is doing around you because you have to be focused on this one objective, this one perspective. It says, "Oh, I had the phone turned the wrong way. Sorry about that. You're looking at rocks. There's a beautiful sunset. So, did you not want to look at rocks? I've got rocks. Um, yeah. So it just maintains your perspective in this singular direction, and you lose the whole scope of things where people are out here working for you, trying to live their lives, and um, like today, it's like I I devote my Saturdays generally. Normally, I devote my Saturdays to work, which is crazy, right? Like most people are working for the weekend, and then here's me like, oh no, that's like my long day. I work, like almost fucking 12-hour days on a Saturday. And then people look at me and they shit on me for that, right? Like the people in my personal life, they're like, why would you do that? And I'm like, well, that's actually how I get my money. And then my boss is like, oh, that's very useful. Let's work you on Saturday because you're the only one that's fucking willing to do it. And and then what will they do without me? Well, they'll hire some other fucking asshole who's willing to work on Saturdays. They're gonna get by just fine without me, right? And if my client cancels at the last minute, because they've had a medical emergency, okay, well, whatever, fuck you, right? But if I cancel, you better believe there's gonna be some issues there. We're gonna have to explain ourselves. Um, and I do understand there's varying degrees of reciprocity going on here, and I think that's important. Like there is a reciprocal uh thing going on where hey, like both of us, myself and my client included, kind of want, the ex we want this day for ourselves. We want it to be good for both of us. So there's reciprocity there. And but then, the guy in charge is actually, pulling the strings. Well, we need to justify this day. We need to continually justify even having things going on Saturday. Because otherwise, I mean, people could just take that time off, right? You have their fucking weekend. But I need hours, they need hours, and this is how we fill them. But Jesus, those people are so fucking loud. I thought they were in the field. They're literally in their house. Like there's walls between us, and I thought they were right next to me. It's crazy. Uh, I don't know where I'm going with any of this. I don't think I'm actually going anywhere with any of this. I think I'm just enjoying a sunset and running my mouth on a Saturday evening when I'm supposed to be at work. Hey, leaving on a jet plane, John Denver. I've had this dilemma, um, ongoing, ongoing dilemma. But basically, I was like, should I stay with my partner? Should I leave? Do I even have the option to leave? Am I just stuck where I'm at this point? Um, who am I upset with? Am I upset with my partner? Am I upset with myself? A little bit of both. Okay, cool, that's there. And then, like, what's the next healthy option? Because I can't just not do anything. If I don't do anything, I continue to build fucking resentment, and that's not healthy. Um, I no longer have my therapist. She's not willing or able to go to therapy with me, I guess, which I suggested. And so it seems to me that my partner is just not interested in, personal growth at all. And so do I cut it off there? Now there's kids interested, and it's her kids. I don't want to leave them behind. I've developed a relationship with them, but it's really her choice, right? She can decide that she actually wants to work on herself and work on this relationship. Okay, but how long do I stay in before I say enough is enough? And I just don't fucking know the answer to that question right now. I had considered two locations for settlement. One is here under the tree. We can see I've laid the 2x4s. That's me. And the other is this divot, which I feel like is going to fill up with water pretty quickly, but is also directly in line with a tree and will provide some shade. We also have concrete mounds surrounding us. So there's one there. That's the one I've been sitting on. And on that side as well. But I feel like this divot is a good hole for someone to sit in right here. A little shielding from the wind. It's a little moist. I don't think the water will run up here short of any rainfall. At least not today. Actually, my butt feels wet just sitting here. But these sticks are very dry. I don't think I would venture to build a fire out here. Wouldn't be sensible. Yeah, I punched and elbowed the walls of the shower today, which of course, turned out very well for me. I'm a very smart motherfucker, uh, and also very strong. I don't think I moved anything, but I might have rearranged some bones and cartilage. And my arm might have some fracturing. So that's fun. So yeah, I maintained this job for a couple of years, and it's been good. For the most part, like I don't blame them for anything that's happened. Um, it was a good job, but I just don't know if I see the utility in it anymore. And some days I wake up feeling like I'm going to an internment camp. Like, and it's it's got to be it's much worse for the people I serve, right? Like, I'm in public service. Like, you know, the people that I usually serve on a Saturday are unhome people, and that's just the nature of the thing that I have to be there to make sure that they're like I check up on people like for the most part like okay are you sober, are you in compliance with the rules and regulations? And then I sit back and I look at myself and I'm like, well, like, am I sober? Am I am I doing those things? And like, why in fucking God's name? Like, if I were in their position, I would have no more respect for me than I have for myself right now, right? Um, right. I'm looking out for your safety, but I'm also trying to, help you conform to the needs of the state. And what are the needs of the state? Well, I don't know. From day to day, uh, might include, um, something I would not usually be doing, right? But something I might feel compelled to do on any given day of the week. And so that's nonconformist, right? I'm no longer compelled to serve the needs of the state. And what did the state do for this field? Well, they made sure there was no like development, I guess. Like nobody put houses here. Um, did they maintain it? Not really. They might have been out here to clean up trash, but I never saw it. So that's you know kind of an interesting thing. Um, but they definitely dumped their shit out here, right? Like, it wasn't nobody that put this mound of concrete here. It was probably some asshole who built one of these houses, or it was the state building the roads over there. but but definitely somebody left this mound of concrete for us and said fuck you. Uh, and the state does nothing about that. The state doesn't seem to care when its own developments turn into trash. Who am I serving? Am I serving the people or am I serving the state? What am I observing? Am I observing uh, simple behaviors under natural conditions or complex behaviors under controlled conditions? Where are we going? What are we doing here? Why am I here? I'm still here. I can't really be anywhere else. I mean, I could go back over there, or I could just walk off into the distance. I suppose wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but I could do that. And then why am I here? Nobody can give me a sense of purpose. I have to do that for myself. I've tried to establish purpose. It's been a very difficult ordeal. My friend asked me a couple weeks ago, he said, "Well, aren't you a fucking musician?" He was trying to get me to sing for him. I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's what I am, right? I'm still a fucking musician. What is my identity?" Yeah, I fucking love music. I think music is our connection to the universe and everything. Music transcends all barriers, and yet with me, I'm stuck. Again, like it used to be for me that every day was a day for music. I would not do anything that conflicted with my musical practice. And now I'm the guy who says I can only do band practice 1 day a week if it does not conflict with my fucking job. And now I say, well, my girlfriend, she works on those days when I'm supposed to be playing music. And so now I have to adapt to that circumstance. And so I can do music 0 fucking days of the week most often because it conflicts with mine and my girlfriend's job. Oh no, here's capitalism again. They're like, don't you need money? Well, if you need money, you better conform to this. Uh, and I was like, no, I'm definitely going to buck against that. But it might not be healthy for me. It might not be healthy for those around me. But this was the one thing that I was supposed to do every day. That now we're relegated to once a week. That now can't even be accomplished in that span of time. Wow, capitalism fucks you every time. They do not give a shit. They only care about their own enrichment. But what did you do? What did you do? Well, I took that fucking shift on a Sunday, and I took the next one, and then I allowed it to happen with my partner, and now they're doing it, and now I have to wait another 2 weeks. Oh wait, how long has it been since you played music? Well, let me see. I sang for those guys like a week ago, I guess. No, 2 weeks ago. We didn't do last week, so I sang for them twice in a month, and I haven't played music probably like really in the last 2 to 3 months. And even when I played music, what was I doing? I was kind of jerking off, kind of just fucking around, not doing anything serious, not writing my own stuff, which is what I love to do. And how long has it been since I've been able to do that? Well, probably better than a year. It's probably been a year or better since I've been able to create my own music, which is what I love to do. Because I put all my energy into this. And what is this? This is a thing I don't really want. I love my partner and I love my kids. That's not really in question, but it's how I'm spending my time, the quality of my days. Whether I'm doing it here or in a fucking garage across the bay, doesn't really make a difference. What am I doing with myself? I ask myself this same question over, over and over again, and nothing will change because I'm not providing the answers. And that's my fault. That is largely a me problem. And I acknowledge that. Not that I think that, society or my job is really helping much because they just want to enrich themselves. And I'm doing the same thing. I want to enrich myself. I want to be better. I want to do better. But in order to do that, sometimes you have to fucking cut ties. Just let the boat sail. You don't stay connected to something that's not serving you. It doesn't make sense. I miss sailing. That was something. Well, it's not technically sailing, I guess, but boating, I guess. Um, Something I miss from being out on the river. It's interesting. The guy I met out there who was living on the river when I was out there, and he has since moved to this area. And I've been seeing him a lot more in certain spaces, like when I'm out and about. And I know he's been at home for a while, um, and he moved from the river uh, up north and down here, but I haven't been able to talk to him. I would like to talk to that guy because he did help me out a lot. But I'm curious as to how his his migration has gone. Um, and it's weird because like once you start paying attention to that, start paying attention to your fellows and your surroundings, and you're like, oh, I live with that guy. They're around the same area that with that guy a couple of years ago, and now he's down here, but we're technically been home to people. It's just like, how did you end up there? This is a really weird kind of question, but like the premise, like, I mean, it makes sense. I don't even know if that guy remembers, but I remember him. There's another person um, that I recently found. Well, it came to my attention that it was a former coworker of mine, twin sibling, um, who came into my proximity, and immediately I'm like, should I tell them that I know they're twins, or that I like work with their twin, or that like what the fuck's going on here? So I reached out to the twin, and of course haven't heard anything really significant back. Um, and so like there's a whole conflict going on there with like human interest and like, what the fuck. Uh, and so I'm just like wondering, like, the universe delivering, like, when people say that God works through people or some shit, and it could be interpreted that way. Well, God is delivering me like some divine inspiration through these people, or it could just be that the universe is totally fucking random, and I've been in a relatively confined space, and everything is interesting to me because most of the time nothing is interesting, and every once in a while I can make a connection and see this person that I knew from the past or something like that. Um, you know, a bit further back in the past, I could say that I mean I was absolutely given this like revelation. Like there was a guy that dated my mom fucking 30 years ago, and I ended up by happenstance, accidentally reconnecting with him, and now we've become kind of friends, you know. And I don't really know how that happened. Just that he came back to the same area, and he happened to still be here, right? But why would I be reconnected with some dude my mom dated 30 fucking years ago and develop a relationship with that person? Doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it. That's like the way the world works. We move around in certain spheres and we go away, and if we come back, maybe sometimes those same people are still there. They're very consistent, right? They stay in one place. I didn't stay in one place. I didn't have a choice. And that doesn't matter. But I always wanted to come back. And when I came back, I expected to find something familiar. And I did, but just not in the way that I expected. Like I don't know what I expect to find, but I found something that was familiar to me. And I don't know what the fuck it's supposed to mean. I don't know what it's for. I can't explain it to you. I can just tell you that this is where I ended up. And every fucking time life throws a hammer at me. Well, it hurts. I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't fucking hurt. It hurts every time. It could be a lot worse. Seems like the end of everything. But yet I start again. And I don't know. Wherever you go with that, life hurts. Life throws the hammer at you every time. And sometimes you dodge the hammer, but most of the time, it hurts. It hurts a lot. You can't explain any of it, and it just keeps happening over and over and over again. 37 fucking years of happenstance of all of my decisions going to shit, everything being completely worthless. At some point, it's got to start making sense or not. Maybe it just never makes sense. And life goes the way it does. And sometimes you get to enjoy a good sunset. Going against the grain here, I think. Yeah, very much against the grain, against societal norms. Um, and everything we think we should be doing. Wrong again. Life, you've got me by the balls. Make it make sense. Some part of me is over here wishing that I could take back any given part of today. I'm sure there are some choice parts of today I could have taken back and done better. But I don't know if that means anything. I make better for who? Doing what? Like, what was really the problem? Um, like, honestly, I further jeopardized my livelihood. That's the main thing. I may have lost an opportunity to make money. I guess that was like the whole long and short of it, right? I could have handled it differently where that opportunity would still be available, but I've been doing it. I've been clinging to that. Okay, well, this is my fallback plan, so don't fuck this thing up. And then I fucked that thing up. But did I enjoy what I was doing? Not particularly. I mean, it wasn't like the best thing in the world. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. It was just something that I did for a time. And I have clung to that. Well, I've clung to that for the last fucking 10 years, honestly. It's been my main thing. Anytime I go off and do something else, I think, oh, well, I can fall back on this. And I don't, I can't honestly usually justify it. Like when people ask me, I'm like, well, I mean, it's just a job. But it's really not. Like there is an ideological disparity between what I believe most of the time, the way I behave, and what I have to do as a matter of getting a job done. And in order to justify that, I have to jump through some pretty extreme hoops um, in order to say that this thing is like a valid uh, way to control people. Uh, that's basically it, you know. Like, how can I control people? Oh no, I don't have any means of control. Well, now, you know, so I have to resort to involving other people whose job it is to control other people. So I'm kind of a middleman in that way. But you know, most of the time it's the illusion of safety, the illusion that somebody is in control when nobody is in control ever. Nobody controls any of that, and all of your safety and security is illusory. Wrap your fucking head around that one. Furthermore, I mean, as I said earlier, like I'm safe here for now. There's some dude walking circles around me with a couple of big dogs. I could probably take out at least one of them with a hatchet, but there's still a few more behind him. I don't feel the sense that they're threatening, but if they were threatening, okay, can I handle myself? No, yeah, maybe, maybe against a single adversary, maybe even against two, but three, I don't know. You're pushing it. You're really fucking pushing your luck there, buddy. Um, and we're in a public. I'm not on his property. He's not on mine. Why would you go to war with them? Well, you wouldn't. Wouldn't make sense. But in the hypotheticals, just given the hypotheticals, right? If it were to come to that, how confident are you in your ability to defend your space? I would say most people aren't readily prepared to defend their space. They're not even looking at it because society says that you don't need to. Do you have a problem with somebody? Just call the cops. Okay, cool, cool beans. Me, I believe in the freedom of choice. I believe in the rights of people to inhabit an area and defend themselves. And nobody else has a right to to transgress them, right? As soon as somebody transgresses in your space, you have the right to self-defense. It's pretty simple. It sounds complicated. People like to overcomplicate things, and that's okay. I overthink a lot too. I don't know if there's actually a point to anything I've done here today. And I'm not sure if that guy heard me or not. I mean, I was using him as an example, but I was actually feeling defensive at any point. But he seemed to have heard me. It's kind of fun. All right, we're anyway from Hatchet Man now. But I sit here and I ponder the universe on a day when I ought to be working. Right? Well, I ought not to be working, but I do work because I obligated myself to work for a period of time, which was supposed to have elapsed, few weeks ago, and that period of time just dragged out. It was like moving into my girlfriend's clothes. Like originally, I was going to do it within 6 months, and then I dragged it out to a year, and then like a year and 2 months roughly. Uh, so 14 months, and then I finally did it. And as soon as I did it, it seemed like a mistake. And so now I've been there for a quarter of a year, and things, keep getting more jarbly. Uh, jarbly, is that a word? Jarbly. I just invented a word, add it for the dictionary. But anyway, so I did that, a bit of indecisive first, and then I did the decision thing, and then it bites me in the ass, and now I'm stuck there in the decision that I made that already bit me. It's jarbly, and now I need to make the next decision, whether right or wrong. I just need to make the decision. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I what do I do now? Where do I go from here? Because nothing seems clear. Can't tell if I've made the right or wrong decision. If I can't really judge the goodness of my previous decision, how would I reliably predict the goodness of my next decision? I have no idea. I can't tell you, man. Just gonna go how it's gonna go, I guess. But I don't want that to keep me mired in indecisiveness, because that's the next logical step, right? You're unsure about the rationality of your previous decision making, and you get mired in indecisiveness. And that's kind of the loop I seem to get caught in, is that, okay, this decision didn't go well for me. Maybe I should not make another decision. Maybe I should just let let life and circumstance make decisions for me, which makes no sense whatsoever, but it makes a lot of sense if you're, you know, like completely caught in a loop of your own, questioning your own rationale for things you've done in the past, which is not helpful at all. Hello, Bird. that your tree? I bet this wasn't what you were expecting when you subscribed to this channel, huh? Just keep throwing curveballs at him. Eventually it'll catch on. Um, philosophy is a hell of a drug. It's actually a decent little hand shovel. I gotta give it that. And it's got a little saw on the side and some driver attachments for like the metrics and shit. Uh, it's not bad. I would give it a couple thumbs up. I do anticipate some minor injuries on the tail end of this. When I say minor, I mean they're well self-induced injuries, and not as bad as they could be, but may result in some temporary issues with locomotion uh, in the future. I mean, right now I'm like I can still flex it, but I know that swelling is on the way. Um, so dealt with that in the past. Journey home. So the logical thing to do is return home. I don't know if I'm feeling logical yet. If the logical thing to do is actually the correct response. Logic can be kind of a tricky bastard in that way. Yeah, logic can tell you that you ought to do a thing that you might ought not to do, right? Self-preservation, all that bullshit. But self-preservation doesn't seem to be all that important in this context. Seems to be like just a thing we do without really thinking about it. We just preserve ourselves because it's what we've always done. It's what we ought to do. But that's not actually logic. It's consistent. It's just consistent with the way things are and the way things have been. And realistically, I'd probably survive a night in the field. Might be less than comfortable, but I would survive. There's kids coming out to use the jumps, but they just realize that there's a dude in there. Little pig, let me come in. Sorry, I was doing that with my client the other day. She started it. It was quite adorable. I just added like 3 layers that doesn't seem to be helping. And my asshole is shaved. Sorry about that, but anyway. I will say the soil in here smells really, really fucking good. I love the smell of really like pungent and you know saturated soil. Um, Definitely gives this positive vibe for me. I think we can safely say the sun has gone down, um, and we are experiencing darkness slowly encroaching upon us. This is life. You fuck around long enough, you will find out. Can't tell you what you'll find out, but you will find something out here. It's extremely cold. I don't know if I could sustain without a fire, and I don't know if it is sensible to light a fire in this location. I don't think it is. But it's getting cold fast. So bearing that in mind, I know people have been trying to get a hold of me. Not that I fucking give a shit at this point. I mean, well, I do give a shit, but I just don't know how many shits I should give. Um, anyway. I also don't really know who's interested in what, like what interest anybody has in me necessarily, particularly like I'm just a dude, not really that important in the grand scheme of things. Um, I know that I've had opportunity to talk to some, pretty important dudes in the past who have been kind to me, like but people who are much more influential than myself. Any time I've done that, you know, I don't know. People always tell me I have potential, and I don't really know what that means. I'm gonna try to teach my kids that they have potential. But is that just something we do? We tell our kids they have potential because we must, right? We that's our imperative. Is try and guide the kids best way we can. towards their potential. Even if we don't have a clear understanding of it, we still frame that in that things could be better, that they can make things better. And I wish that I could be better and that I could make things better. But I don't know if I'm better suited doing that here or where I was before. I'd go back to where I was before and be more comfortable. Would that make anything better? Am I changing anything? If I stay here, I know that I've changed this path. I've definitely altered the landscape, that's for sure. Just a little bit, minutely, but observably. That's not really good. Well, 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 then again, frogs, you are my only friend. I guess I'm getting the basic procedural prompting. Nature said earlier that it was like, oh yeah, it's definitely too cold for you out here, buddy. Go and fucking dust yourself off. And now I've got Mrs. Ape telling me to come home and get sleep. And this all seems very normal. Of course, why wouldn't they tell you that? Come back into your confines. I need you out there. You're doing no good to society, no how. Do they want me to be warm or do they want me to cease to embarrass them? That is the question. Literally trying to build the smallest fires so that they don't keep going is a crazy procedure. I feel like Johnny Cash. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. And the answer is yep, yep, I can definitely feel that. Yeah. It's not gonna get better. doesn't get easier after you've done it 1,000 times. That is a myth that was saying every time. Rub up, rub up. I mean, I guess I can go back to the house. I don't necessarily feel good about it. I know it'd be warmer, significantly warmer than I am right now. I don't know if that means better. Long equals good. So, grand scheme of things, success or failure. Probably both. I mean, equal degrees of success and failure here. Failed to understand myself, why I do what I do. Only acknowledge that I seek warmth, and then I guess that's available to me. I don't know if it's the best option, but it seems to be the only option at this point. Stay here, stubborn. I can leave, be malleable. Society wants me to be malleable. So I guess that's the best option for everybody. Not me, but everybody. I am not everybody. Those are quite brilliant tonight. Always appreciate that. Ah, it is cold out. This is the part where I pack up my things and leave. And wish you all a happy, whatever day it is today. Skip philosophy. Pink Floyd is the goat, and thanks, Todd. I mean, I didn't intend it to be this way, but this is the way that it was. Couldn't help anybody else. Got to try to help myself. I don't really know what that entails anymore. But anyway, much love. Be kind, be well, stay trusty.